get to the emergency?
I'm on Shiloh and Medical Center. There's a guy with a gun drawn right here in a Holiday Inn. He's pointing at a man. He's screaming at him right now.
We continue our deep dive tonight into the job history of a former police officer in the small town of Decherd.
Last month, Mathew Ward was arrested and charged with aggravated assault for what happened right here. Deputies say the off-duty officer, who was dozens of miles away from Decherd, pointed his police-issued handgun at a driver after a road rage incident in Rutherford County. Today, NewsChannel 5 received former Officer Mathew Ward's training records from a police department in Florida after we asked the department for them.
And amazingly, police down in Florida say Decherd police never asked them for those records before hiring Ward. Our Jason Lamb looks into the red flags that police training officers raised in a story you'll only see here on NewsChannel 5.
24/7.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Police!
Publicly available training records for former Decherd police officer Mathew Ward detail the red flags that police trainers noted at Ward's last police job, long before the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office says Ward held a private citizen at gunpoint with his police-issued service weapon while out of town and off-duty during a road rage incident last month.
Not on duty. You can't. Doesn't matter. I am on duty 24/7.
This cop's saying he's on duty 24/7.
Get on the ground!
This week, one Decherd city alderman questioned the city's police chief about why he didn't look more into Ward's past at the Fort Walton Beach Police Department in Florida.
Ross, did you contact this officer's previous employer?
No.
No? Why?
Because he didn't actually, he wasn't actually an officer there, he was going through his field training officer program.
But if I applied for a job at Walmart, they would contact my previous employer, even if I was there for training.
The police chief told us when they call a police officer's previous employer, they're only allowed to ask two specific questions.
There was no form filled out where we got it notarized where we could ask questions anything different than did you work here and would you rehire that person? And since he's not actually got an extensive work history in law enforcement, we didn't do that. That's my answer.
But this week, NewsChannel 5 filed a Freedom of Information Act request under the Florida Sunshine Law, asking to see public records that anyone, including the Decherd police chief, could have also asked for. Fort Walton Beach Police sent us those training records today. They reveal that before joining the Decherd Police Department, Ward attended a police academy while working for the Enterprise Police Department in Alabama. While there, he got into an argument with a fellow trainee who came at Ward and threatened to find him at his home. The report says Ward then said something similar to, quote, "If you come to my hometown, I'll kill you." And the Enterprise Police Department fired Ward. He then went to the Fort Walton Police Department, where the reports say Ward started out with kudos from his trainers. Ward arrived early and with all required accoutrement. One comment read, "Ward has an upbeat attitude and will to be at work." But the reports show things went downhill from there. Ward is very dependent on the field training officer and lacks either self-confidence or drive to push forward on his own, one trainer said. And after getting multiple low marks in assessment categories like knowledge of criminal procedure and decision-making, Ward's trainer said, "Ward has shown this profession is not for him. Ward is unable to meet the standards of the field training evaluation program. Ward has shown to have no integrity and cannot be truthful. Ward has been given all of the tools and training necessary for the job, and Ward continued to show little dedication to the profession." All information that Fort Walton Beach Police confirm the Decherd police chief did not have before deciding to hire Ward. Jason Lamb, NewsChannel 5.
Thank you, Jason. Now, we want you to know the steps we're taking to bring you all sides of this story. We've made several attempts to contact former Officer Mathew Ward through both phone calls and text messages. He has not returned those so far. We've also forwarded those training reports to the Decherd police chief, who has also not yet responded with any further comment. Of course, we'll let you know if they do respond. We also want to give you the opportunity to look at those training documents for yourself, and you can find them in the in-depth article we posted right now on NewsChannel5.com.